Hey, welcome back to Judicial Dollars and Cents, coming to you live from the PILMMA Super Summit in San Antonio, Texas. My guest this morning is Thaddeus Wendt of Feller & Wendt, and he has a firm in the western part of the United States. Can you tell us a little bit about your firm?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, John, for having me on. I appreciate it. Let's see. We are a personal injury law firm. It's all we do. And we're just all out in the West, West Coast kind of area. I guess we're not on the coast, but we have offices in Utah, Arizona, and Idaho. Started out in Utah, expanded then to Idaho, and our latest expansion has been in Arizona. So
okay, I've been to Utah or Salt Lake City twice in the last 3 years.
Okay.
And I've gone to the temple.
All right.
I didn't really want to take a tour, but I wanted to see the outside.
Did you convert? That's
I didn't convert.
Okay. I'm not Mormon, by the way.
Well, I've learned that the majority aren't in Salt Lake City. I mean, maybe if you get outside
Salt Lake City, that's probably true. Yeah.
Well, I was hoping to see the architecture of the temple, but it's covered by scaffolding. It's
almost done. It's almost done. Beautiful.
I'm almost given up on going back because
beautiful temple.
I keep hearing it's almost done. But maybe I'll get back there.
It really is almost done, though. I think the latest I heard is they'll have all the scaffolding and everything down. I think by Christmas, which they do you ever come out ski at all during the winter? They really light that temple up. It's pretty cool. The whole grounds and everything like that.
Another shot.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So tell me about the origin story of you and your firm.
Sure. Let's see. Matt Feller and I, we're one of the few law firms that have dual CEOs, which I know is against the whole traction methodology and all that kind of stuff, but we've made it work.
You have different strengths that parallel and work well.
We do. Yep. Okay. And right now, well, let me start with the origin, I guess. He and I actually met in undergrad at Weber State University, which is in Ogden, Utah. And I was the chief justice of the student body council and, trying to do whatever I could extracurricular to, beef up my resume. And Matt Feller walked into my office, the student body office, and said, "Hey, I'm going to law school. I need to beef up my resume." And I was like, "Hey, I need somebody on my ombudsman group." And we've been fast friends ever since. So we ended up going to different law schools, but studied for the LSAT, studied, after law school, bar exam, all that kind of stuff together. And then ended up just being on the phone with each other all the time after law school, working with different groups. And Matt kind of hung his own angle. And then we just got to the point where why are we paying like two different rents, working at two different locations? Let's just, put it all together. And when we first started, it was actually Garn, Feller, and Wendt. Jordan Garn, who we're still friends with, ended up parting ways after about 6 months and went into lobbying. And like I said, we still work with and are friends with him, but ended up dropping the Garn, and it's been Feller and Wendt ever since. So we've been going I think we're going on 17 years this August. That's coming great. Up. So
grown substantially since then.
So I tell folks, I've done actually a couple webinars on our growth pattern, but we really went through two phases. The first was kind of that unintentional growth where you're trying to get better, you're trying to bring in more cases, but you just don't really have a lot of clarity and direction, which is kind of interesting because Matt and I both, our undergrad is in business. We just always kept hearing when we came out of law school that you're supposed to be a lawyer first and businessman second, and it's unethical to think otherwise. And we kind of bought into that to a certain extent. So we didn't really push the business side. But then we got to a point where the firm has always done well, been blessed with that, but we just felt like, my gosh, we're just like growing furiously, and it just feels like we're just spinning. And we'll try to grow here, and then scale back down, and then grow a little bit, scale back down. And so I said, you know what? Screw this. We're going to really start to lean into the business. And both Matt and I have some pretty extensive business experience in our past. And so I said, let's instead of reinventing the wheel here, there's got to be folks out there that are actually doing it better than we are and know how to scale up. And some of that was based on some of the economic stuff that we saw. I always stayed in touch with the economics and looking at the industrial data, industry data, whatever. And I could see that, I know we lag about 10 years behind medical. And I was like, ooh, private equity and venture capitalism that's coming. And I said, I really think we're either going to get killed by them or they're going to buy us, or we need to compete. And if we're going to compete, we've got to get big. And so kind of combination of all of that and us looking at that and then leaders making a decision, I actually came to PILMMA. And this isn't just like a shout out to them. It's the first one I went to. It was the leadership conference focused on the business development side instead of the litigation side, which we were all litigators and loved that part of it. But did that, ended up going to SMBs and Michael Mogul's Chris, all the leadership side, and really landed on through that. And Craig Goldenfarb, had some personal meetings with him, and they pointed us all towards the traction methodology. Mm-hmm. So we adopted that about 4 years ago, and we went from probably a couple $1 million law firm to last year we hit 20 million, and this year we're on track to get to 25. So
I love the growth, and I love the fact that you guys are unicorns with the business undergraduate and business experience, because many attorneys don't have that. They're history majors, they're English majors, and they don't have the training in accounting and finance. And I know you said that it was viewed as unethical to run it as a business, but at the end of the day, your firm is a business. You're not in this for a charity. You're in it to serve clients first and make money in it at the same time. So I applaud you for doing that. That's where we come in a lot of times to help, because many firms aren't equipped with the tools to read a balance sheet and income statement. Or you know that your IOTA account needs to stay in balance at all times. Right. But you would be shocked at how many firms have a permanent difference from 13 years ago that they can't figure out. I just had a firm the other day that said, hey, we don't know what to do about this. And I said, well, the good news is it's been a static permanent difference for 13 years. So it's not a recurring systematic problem with your IOTA account. The bad news is you've got to find an ethics attorney to figure out what to do with it, because right now, going forward, we're just going to keep segregating it on your IOTA reconciliation to point out we know about it. You got to deal with it. Right. It also is a case where they probably did the work and didn't recognize it because the trust liability and the IOTA balance are a fair position. But it's so important for you to have that business background. If you don't have it, reach out to someone who does. Yeah. How are you utilizing AI to help you run your business? Can I say this before I answer that? Yeah. I actually think it's looking back now and where I am currently, and I can tell you this, all of our leadership team, we think it's unethical not to run your law firm like a business. I love that. And I love what the Claim Angel guy said earlier in the conference where, he got disbarred. But he's like, if you think you're not doing something unethical, just let somebody go in and take a look at your financial records, and you can find it. Like, I'll tell you right now, there's not a business in the world, doesn't matter what industry, but if you look at their books, you're going to find something. You're going to find a mistake in there, and that's it. You got to. It's just. It's not. They've figured something. It's not, and it's something the bar doesn't recognize. I think it's terribly unfair. We were under some pretty similar scrutiny to what he had because the bar got into our books, and they found some issues. And we thankfully didn't get disbarred, but we actually did get disciplined. And we had to maneuver through that. And I'll tell you what, I think of it as a refiner's fire. It was a journey that we had to go through. It made us sharper, leaner, meaner because of that process. But it sucked going through it. So AI, I think it's a good segue to AI. I think it's kind of a similar thing. I think firms are going to have to figure out how to use AI ethically and responsibly. With human oversight. With human oversight. They've got to have that. I think that's the ethical component of it. If you do it without human oversight, man, I think you're just asking for all sorts of issues, right? But that's, I think you're asking for all sorts of issues if you're not using AI. So we do and have from the very beginning, again, being tapped into SMB and PILMMA and that kind of stuff, realized AI was coming. It was here faster than we thought. But what we also found out too is we put together AI committees to really evaluate and had a scoring rubric, a really refined scoring rubric on how to evaluate these different AI products. And we just found that so many of these AI vendors, and I still think it's a problem today, they overpromise and underdeliver over and over and over again. We
barely, just when I say barely, 3 weeks ago, I finally signed an AI contract. And it's a 3-year. And one of the reasons we did it is I just said, look, none of them actually work the way they say they are. But we're gonna pick one. Yeah, exactly. It's coming. Right. They're getting super close. And we said we're gonna pick one, and then we're gonna mandate that our teams use it and learn it and understand its limitations and where we can build efficiencies and effectiveness by using it. And then in 3 years' time, we are actually, what our plan is probably to explore bringing in engineers and building our own platform.
And we're working with a company called Basis AI.
Okay.
And the accounting function, we're just starting to fully implement it. It's been over a year working with them. Saying, hey, you guys are on the 10-yard line. We're in the red zone. But here's the 15 issues you need to solve before we're ready to commit.
Yeah.
Work through those issues. And so now we've got internal teams. Everything's geofenced that can access all it. It's not going out to the universe.
Yeah.
And amazing. It can reach through all of our Outlook products and grab all the emails related to a client, all the tax returns related to a client, financial statements, and then you have a use case. You say, okay, I want you to analyze the variance between these 2 years, same month, and it comes out with valuable information. It creates efficiency. It doesn't take a lot of time to do all that legwork.
Right.
But it gives us then time to spend on the higher level advisory piece of the project.
Right.
And so the same thing's going to work in legal. If you can handle your cases in the history of your firm and find out, hey, where did we have this officer, or where did we have this on the other side? Without going, oh, I remember this. He was on this case. It's going to really help you serve your client.
Yeah. Here's my vision for AI. I want to have NDAs with all of my competitors. I would love to have all the plaintiffs' law firms.
Oh, then joint venture to
get together. Yeah, because it's valuable having that siloed information, but I'm stuck with my firm. Now, the defense firms, the insurance companies, they're not siloed at all. They have the whole thing. So they have superior data. Agentics, it's going to be better than ours until we all get together and say, hey, there's going to have to be some parameters, but I think there's a way to silo it off, but open up data. And obviously our clients are going to have to authorize use of it, or we're going to have to scrub data and get, get BAA agreements or whatever. But we've got to be able to do it. And that's one thing I keep pushing on all the AI vendors. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing to open it up? I know you're trying to meet my need right now. You're protecting me on, the protection and protecting PHI and all that kind of stuff. But what are you doing to do that and open up these silos so that we can get better results?
Better as a group.
Yeah, and we need to. We need to. Nobody's doing it. And so if there's a way, if any of these guys would figure it out, I don't have time to do it. But somebody similar to you, can you imagine if you're accounting your CFO products, you could open it up across you could have that full universal information. I mean, that would be incredible for your clientele. Yeah. So
Thaddeus, this has been wonderful. If folks want to get a hold of you or your firm, how can they do that?
So best thing, go to fellerwendt.com. That's the easiest way. You can hit us, anybody on there will reach out to you. If they want to get a hold of me specifically, it's just my first and last name, Thaddeus Wendt at fellerwendt.com. And I'm always happy to talk about any of the CEO and, scale up and all that kind of stuff. It's been a fun journey, and I love talking to people and collaborating with them about it. So
thank you so much. And last time Terry dropped this book in your room.
They did. I wanted to tell you thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I read nothing else. Read the preface.
Hey, I'm going to read it. And then I was just telling your colleague over here that we hired our full-time CFO.
Okay.
And so I'm going to have him read the book, but I'm also going to have him reach out to you too, because the AI stuff that you're talking about.
And really just a relationship where we can share ideas.
For sure.
Wonderful. One other thing I want you to do is have that CFO go to our website, CPA.com.
Yeah.
There's a QR code for a financial maturity model.
Okay.
And it'll let you self-grade 5 areas of finance.
Love it.
It'll give that CFO 1 or 2 areas to work on over the next 12 months.
Great. I love it. Thank you so much. John, really appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
And thank you all for joining us on this episode of Judicial Dollars and Cents. Until next time. Thanks for joining us on Judicial Dollars and Cents, presented by Anders Virtual CFO Services. If you found value in today's conversation, be sure to follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcast. To learn more about how Anders helps law firms strengthen their financial foundations and drive growth, visit anderscpa.com. Until next time, keep making smart decisions that make perfect sense.